there any chance of seeing your work on any of the other consoles, PlayStation Network or WiiWare?
Well,
I think the one slide where it said X and A for the win kind of.
Yeah. So the thing about X and A is it is Microsoft technology that cross-platform as long as they're Microsoft platforms. So for a PSN or Wii release, it would basically be a rewrite. I mean, I'm not sure how well the porting goes, but it's all, for starters, it's C# and then it does all the X and A framework calls for everything. So it'd be a pretty crazy porting job. But then on top of that, I've got a good relationship with Microsoft, and virtually no relationship with the other ones. So we're sticking to works.
What are some of the things with the certification program you have to
it's all memory card errors. I'm sure some people here.
These are really technical certifications.
Mostly technical. A lot of them are sort of region issues. Part of the process is getting ratings and everything, and having the correct ratings shown in the correct region. Like in North America, it has to say, the online experience may vary. People can swear at your headset.
So you people have yourself.
No, they do that. Yeah.
That's the one kind of good thing about having a publisher. Like for example, Microsoft, is they have a system that is very they know what they're doing. They have the plan. It's kind of to follow along with them.
Answer all the emails. That's all. But yeah, that's just the tech. We're still got stuff. But if anyone has more to know,
So why did they say they not so prevalent?
it's it's a new technology. It's going to take time to catch on. I think a lot of people are with the PSN issue. A lot of people are very sort of defensive about that, not wanting to be in the Microsoft exclusive production. But yeah, I do my part to try to get it out there. So I think it's great, and I don't get paid to say it.
What's the margin for putting a game on X&A?
For Xbox indie games, it's 70 for developer, 30 for Microsoft. For everything else, it's NDA.
Last question.
Thanks.
Just pass it out.
Okay. So I guess that's it for development. So I guess we can talk about the marketing aspect. This is kind of Dustin's project right here. I was gonna actually put cross out experiments and put experiences too, because it's just with the alliteration. I don't know. We could switch here. You get the projector.
Yeah.
Or I can continue talking. I put this list together actually, so it's not fair. So for I made a game with zombies in it. I was thinking, okay, hey, I put the Dishwasher Dead Samurai out on Xbox Live Arcade. I should be famous, right? So I should be able to say, okay, here's the game I made. Everyone buy my other game, right? And I sent a press release to all the bigger like Kotaku, Destructoid, Joystick, and that kind of thing. And actually, Dustin used to work for Joystick, so he's my like ace in the hole kind of thing. So with zombies, I put that out there, and I was like, all right, here's a press release, here's the game. Everyone ignored the press release, right? And what ended up happening was all these people started, playing the game, emailing Kotaku, being like, I love this game, you should tell everyone about it. Then Kotaku and everyone ran pieces on it, and they didn't make the association that it was made by the guy who made the Dishwasher. So, the long story short of that was the game was good if people liked the game, the PR sucked, and, it was take it or leave it.
And stuff like that you can't really plan for, right? It's you want your game to be talked about, you want everyone, to tell their friends to buy this, that stuff. But to get that, it's really hard. So James to just, basically make a game that made it, made everyone talk about it, that's rare. That's hard to do. You can admit that like it just happened, right? Basically.
Yeah.
With the usually can't hurt to experiments. That is, what is that?
I think that kind of leads into the first question.
Yeah, okay.
But then, because it's usually can't hurt to experiment, I was thinking of, extreme cases, like the Dante's Inferno thing, where you had people try to get big or something, I don't know. You know, it was like posed with the, remember? It was the lust level, it was like posed with the,
So I guess, seeing that we're indie, it's not like, James is going to cut like a $20,000 check to, get some ads plastered everywhere, right? So you kind of have to think outside the box, but still take yourself seriously. I see a lot of indie developers or people treat their games that not as good enough, and they feel like, they shouldn't maybe contact this person or, this media outlet, or shouldn't do this just because they're lower level. Well, if you do that, then you're not going to be taken seriously, right? So what we ended up doing for announcing the Dishwasher Vampire Smile was we came up with kind of a teaser, kind of countdown kind of thing where we would hoped that there would be interest in it and people would, blog about it and pick it up. So as far as costs for us, it was literally making, I think you have some pictures next, but we basically made media boxes to just ship out to some outlets and stuff, and then kind of brought them back to a site that we're going to count down the clock, and in the end, the big reveal was, the announcement trailer, which you saw. It's a risk because if they don't pick it up or no one's interested, well then you're kind of screwed. That said, if they pick up like a teaser or a viral kind of thing, then you're almost guaranteed for them to pick up what the reveal is, right? So you're getting all these kind of coverage, punches out on the internet. Sympathy for that actor.
Yeah. Well, I mean, maybe it's part of like a low self-esteem thing or something, but I am kind of wondering how much, it's like if you put out some sort of marketing thing, whatever, it's for indie operation. A lot of blogs look at it as more of like maybe an interest or like, hey, look at what these guys did. And you do kind of feel a little bit like you got some sympathy points.
But you gotta use it to your advantage.
You have to make it.
I'll talk a little bit more about that. Conventions. Conventions were a big thing. When I came on board, that was one of my main goals, was to take care of the convention. And that was the Penny Arcade Expo, PAX East, which took place this past spring, and in Boston. And that was an experience. We had no idea, how do you get electricity to your booth? How do you, what is provided? You also then don't want to just be the setup with just a table. You need some decorations, and how much decorations?
Unless it's John Blow.
Unless it's John Blow, true. Just set up a computer somewhere. So in the end, it's not a cheap thing, and honestly, we don't know if it's going to pay off in the end. We know what we want to do, and that is, to go for the long haul, to have a presence, to be known out there within the indie channel, and just kind of be known within the community circuit, right? So we're getting into things like merchandising and being at the convention, showing off our wares, meeting people, showing off games, just so they know we're part of it, and we're not leaving, basically, right? That said, we don't know what's going to pay off in the end. We'll see come release day, right?
And then that was an observation that I made, because I'm negative. Being at the mercy of the whims of journalists is a weird yet undeniable reality. Because a lot of when you're at the indie level, a lot of journalists like sort of making stories of certain developers. And if you get hit with the story wrong, wonder a little otherwise. I remember there was one exactly that was like that. It was like baseball and everything he did in this game didn't do so well. And then there was another one on a joystick that was the ritual. But yeah, so a lot of times when you make a story out of someone, and they get all this free press. And sometimes you'll send them a press release about it, maybe give them zombies, and they'll ignore you, and you cry on the inside for a couple of days, and then you just pull yourself together.
And we're talking a lot about online journalism and stuff like that. This kind of lends itself into the paper, newspaper, magazine world too. There's just I think you've been approached a few times via email about interviews or things like that where they wanted to write an article about them and stuff like that. But I think the biggest takeaway is do not be afraid to just reach out to you. have to, you know, be that confident in your product and confident in wanting to make these relationships. Because I've been on the journalism side and stuff. You just get things thrown at you, basically, right? And you know your channels of where to get good news from and, you know, good stories. But there's only so many hours a day. You can't search, you know, the back streets of the, you know, the indie gaming news world, right? So it's always, when I got tips, trailers and things like that from indie games or anyone like that, I was, you know, in your tips box, you have to look at everything. You may not have caught everything, but I was always, and I know at Joystick even, we got tips and stuff, and that's how a lot of the stories kind of came to be, like the Clover and things like that. You kind of see it, if it catches your eye, you write about it and stuff. And then just keep in contact and just, you know, put yourself out there, basically. Which is, be social, reach out to the industry.